I don't know where to start, man. It's been 6 days since my last video, and prior to that, it was 9 days before that video. So I've been moving. As you can see, we are in a new location. I went over it last time, but even further to the point now. Yeah, we're in a new location. Yeah, me and my family, we did move. Once again, I've said this last video, but this isn't my full-time job. I have a full-time job that does take up most of my time, and, well, that full-time job has blessed me with a new house. And it's an older house. As you can see, some of the stuff is a little bit older, but a little older-looking color and all that. But it's a great blessing. It's a much bigger house than we had before. So, hey, it's a blessing, absolutely. But either way, today we've got something to talk about, a big thing to talk about, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was, some might call it, I don't even know what, that you might call it not interesting. In my opinion, I think it was even more interesting than ever. I love watching Kansas City get beat up. It was amazing. So that was great. But we also want to talk about NFL honors. A lot of stuff happened. But before we get into the video, just let me remind you, check out W.GG. This right here, my favorite energy drinks in the world. They have, well, to be honest with you, they're some of the best tasting I've ever had. They don't have that really chemically energy taste. They're also very cost effective, just over $1 per drink. Check them out at W.GG or click the link down in the description. And guess what? Discount code, I just lied. It's over here. Check them out. It'll help you out a ton. Trust me, they're great. They're absolutely great. They just came out with a bunch of new flavors too, 3 in like a week. So they're making moves. Check them out at W.GG. Click the link in the description, and let's get right into this video. Once again, I did say it last time, but I'm going to just re-say it here. Yes, my lighting sucks. I am aware. I am very aware. It doesn't look good. I don't really know what to do to fix it, but wait, let me try something. Okay, that actually looks a lot better. I changed my lighting style. It's more of the yellow instead of a white, and it works. Anyways, so Super Bowl, final score ended up being 40-22. Let's pull up some stats on this game. I know this is real wonky, but just go with me here. 40-22, but honestly, this game was nowhere near that score. It was 34. If you can see right here, they only scored 6 in the last half, or the last quarter, excuse me. It's Philadelphia. It was 34-6 entering the fourth quarter. That's embarrassing. Kansas City got absolutely just pummeled in this game. Honestly, I'm not even sure what to even start with here. Mahomes played probably the worst game of his career. He had 2 touchdowns in the last like 7 minutes of the game. Mahomes was embarrassing, to be quite honest. Absolutely embarrassing. There's nothing he can really say other than that. They had no rushing attack whatsoever, a combined maybe 50 yards. It was embarrassing. And in my opinion, I really think that we're going to see something happen here. This is going to be a very, I think I'm predicting this here, a very Brady-esque break in Super Bowls. I think we're going to go another maybe 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and Mahomes is not going to get to another Super Bowl. Maybe, well, not going to win one, maybe get to one. And it's going to be, like Brady did. Brady had like 2 separate Hall of Fame careers nearly. And part of that reason I say that is because there's a lot of holes on this team, and there's a lot of holes that are about to be on this Kansas City team. For example, Travis Kelce, he's going to retire soon, whether it's this year or next. He's also just a shell of himself. He's not the same guy he once was. Simple case in fact. It's just not the same. So, for that being said, he's just going to be worse. It's just going to have to happen. They're going to have to get worse to get better. They're going to have to get off the Kelce contract, and by the time they get off that, they're going to have to get off Chris Jones' contract, and by the time they get off that, they're probably going to have a whole new regime of guys, and Mahomes is going to carry them to Super Bowls. It's probably going to happen, but I think it's going to take a little while for them to get back there. For Philly, more power to them. They were the better team. They were absolutely the better team. Looking at these stats over here, let's flip to Philly. Team stats, entry. Okay, total yards. Wow, that's actually a lot closer, but it's because of the last few snaps and all that stuff. But no, looking at the team stuff, Jalen Hurts played incredibly well. Only 5 incompletions, 17 of 22. 220 yards, not to mention he had 72 rushing yards. Jalen Hurts was incredible. If you think he didn't deserve the Super Bowl MVP, you're absolutely wrong. The only pick he threw was, the way he underthrew it, to me, I think it has to be some kind of miscommunication. That or he, as he was letting it go, it kind of just he kind of tried to re-catch it because he just didn't really feel confident in the throw. Whatever. It wasn't a very bad pick. He pinned him at the 3-yard line. It's not a big deal. The Chiefs obviously were really focused on stopping Saquon, and they did just that. But here's the thing. I didn't get to make a pre-Super Bowl video, which I really should have, but it was going to come down to could the Eagles throw the ball. It wasn't going to come down to Saquon running. Saquon was going to run either way, probably. And if not, they were going to sell it to stop him, and they were going to let them throw. And they absolutely did. So I'm just not worried about it. Kenny Pickett got some reps in there. Pretty cool. Devontae Smith, first Alabama player to ever score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That sounds crazy. Feels like that should have happened 18 million times already. Jahan Dotson showed up, got himself a really big catch that maybe was a touchdown. They called it off, but it maybe was. Milton Williams had a heck of a game himself. Lots of sacks. We had 2.5 from Josh Sweat, a half from Jalix Hunt, 1 for Jordan Davis, 2 for Milton Williams. They were all over Mahomes all game. The Philadelphia Eagles were the better team. There's no doubting that. Cooper DeJean scored a touchdown on his birthday in the Super Bowl. That's our Jackie Robinson, buddy. That's it. That's ours. We got ours. We're even now, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, that's crazy. Wow. Anyways. It's just a good situation, honestly, for Philly. They really have built this team up well. I'm not even sure that they have very many free agents this offseason. I mean, they really have a great situation in front of them. Checking in on over the cap, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, who's going to retire, Zach Bond, they got him for nothing, Mekhi Becton, who is a guard, Avonte Maddox, he might retire, Milton Williams. Their biggest free agent is Milton Williams, maybe Zach Bond. That's not that bad. Neither of those guys are stud superstar players. They're very, very good, very, very good role players. Don't get me wrong on that. I say they probably let Milton Williams walk. They probably shouldn't pay him. Zach Bond was good enough. You probably want to pay him. Milton Williams did only play about 50% of the snaps, while Zach Bond played 90. That's something you're going to want to pay. He was as good as he was with that much usage. Yeah, I'd say pay him absolutely. The rest of these guys, let them go. None of these guys are very effective. They did lose Kellen Moore today to the Saints to become their head coach, but overall, Philly, y'all are looking like y'all might have a chance to maybe get your own version of a 2 or 3-peat. Who knows? This team's going to be good for a while. I can't look into the yes, I can. I can look into the future. Let's see. 2026, Dallas Goedert, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Jordan Davis, Jahan Dotson. Honestly, even next year, Dallas Goedert's a big deal. Yeah. But honestly, he's going to be in his age 31 year at that point, going downhill. He's going to make, if he comes back, they're going to put him on a $7-8 million contract per year, average annual value. Jordan Davis will definitely have to be re-upped, but he's not a guy as an every down guy. So far, he played almost 40% of the snaps. It's not great. He would probably get around 10 million, roughly, approximately. Cam Jurgens, he'd be a pretty important guy to bring back, I guess. But he's not elite. He's a good guy, 5, 6, 7 million a year. You got value contracts here. You don't have a big free agent until 2027 when Lane Johnson goes, which, let's be real, he probably retires by then. Saquon, this is 2027. You have 2 years straight where you can maybe win more Super Bowls. There's something special that could happen here. 2025, 2026, Philly, we got to watch out. But we got to talk about NFL honors. We're just going to scroll through this award by award here, talking about each one of them. First off, MVP Josh Allen. If you do not think that Josh Allen deserved this award, you are dead wrong, or a Ravens fan. And if that's the case, you're a Ravens fan and you're dead wrong. See, the Ravens did not deserve to have Lamar win the MVP because, well, to be honest with you, he wasn't even the most valuable player on his own team. More teams are scared of Derrick Henry than they are Lamar Jackson, 100 times out of 100, to be quite honest with you. But despite any of that, I'm not saying Lamar's bad. He's obviously great. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen led a top 10 NFL offense in NFL history, not just this year, history, without a 1,000-yard receiver, without a 1,000-yard rusher. Josh Allen did it on his own. Oh, but his stats aren't there. Let's talk about that maybe, last year when Lamar had terrible stats, didn't have great efficiency, didn't have great stats. None of what Lamar did last year was relevant. Yet we're worried about this year. Okay. Moving on. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Josh Allen was simply the most valuable player in the league, and it's not a debate. Kevin O'Connell wins Coach of the Year. I think that's fair. I don't see any problem with that, to be honest with you. We just, we saw him take a team that was expected to be the worst in their division. Yeah, whatever. Have at it. Cool. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I don't think anybody's surprised here. He led the league in pressures for rookies, and it was like 20 more pressures than anybody else. And I'm not a big fan of pressures, but hey, Jared Verse, you had a great year. There's no one doubting that much. Maybe Quinion Mitchell could have had a bit more of a say, but, man, I just don't think it was that serious. Joe Burrow gets Comeback Player of the Year. In his own words, not an award you want to be nominated for multiple times in your career, but hey, he was, and you know what? He deserved it. If their defense was any better, that guy might have won MVP. But it wasn't the case, but he had a great year. I think he led the league in yards, yeah, right here, and touchdowns. 43, almost 5,000. Third in total QBR, 75% basically. Really good year for Burrow, no doubt about it. Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley. You can argue. He is more of an arguable case to be the second MVP in my opinion. The Eagles were on his back for most of the season. I think he has a better case for MVP than Lamar Jackson does, and I don't think that's crazy at all. Moving on. I mean, he effectively, in my opinion, did have the best running back season in NFL history. Maybe he didn't break the record, but he did have more yards on less attempts than Eric Dickerson did, and all that situation. There's just more to talk about. He also won the Super Bowl, so you can give him that much too. Patrick Surtain, Defensive Player of the Year. Probably the right call. Honestly, he did very, very, very well. Matched up against some of the best receivers. 27 yards for Jamar Chase. That's by far the best all season. DK Metcalf, 3 catches for 29. That's really great. There is a false thing here I'm going to say as a Steelers fan, if you can't tell back here on the shirt, whatever, that he locked up George Pickens. And I'm going to be honest with you. George Pickens is the only receiver who ate his lunch all year. So props to George Pickens on that note. He absolutely ate his lunch. If you paid attention to that game, you know that George Pickens destroyed him. If you look at the stat sheet, you won't see it, but there was like 4 plays called back from Patrick Surtain holding defensive pass interference that were blatant. They weren't questionable calls. They were absolutely blatant. And that knocked off almost 100 yards of offense from George Pickens alone on top of Patrick Surtain. It was a rough game for him, that one. But hey, other than that, honestly, usually this goes to an edge rusher. Not an edge rusher in the league that deserved it this year, to be quite honest with you. Moving on. Offensive Rookie of the Year. You could argue Brock Bowers. I think with the quarterback situation, that is a very fair argument. But Jaden Daniels did have a great year. There's no doubt about it. Deserved, no problems there. Assistant Coach of the Year, Ben Johnson. Are we surprised? No. Let's just give it to him, move on. Aaron Glenn could have won it with how he did in the last few weeks of the regular season. But either way, I don't think so. But looking forward to next year, I think, a guy like Josh Allen could win another MVP. You could see, I'm assuming an edge rusher will win it next year. Probably, it doesn't happen often that a cornerback or really just not an edge rusher wins. So, we'll see what that is. But either way, honors was honestly kind of the most boring the NFL honors has been in quite some time. These guys were pretty much all of the favorites without a doubt. Allen's the only slightly questionable one, but if you think that's questionable, you don't have a brain. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Once again, I apologize for being away so much. I have been moving, and it has been a nightmare, to be quite honest with you. It's been rough, but hey, the place looks good. The setup looks nice. I got all my footballs, all my helmets, all my jerseys on the wall. There's more jerseys on the wall. You can't even see, all signed and all. That's pretty cool. But maybe sometime, if you're interested, maybe we'll do a little show of what the room looks like. I got a pretty cool setup in here. That's honestly my favorite setup I've had so far. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click that like button, that subscribe button. They don't cost you a single thing, and they do help my channel out a ton. Help me grow. I really do appreciate it. And either way, I'll see y'all in the next one.